forward thinkers in my district, and really, I love technology. I believe in technology. It's a great equalizer, and it's a great leveler of the playing field in education for rural schools, for low socioeconomic students, for students with learning disabilities, learning differences. All of those things are great opportunities to use technology. And so I really believe that we need to educate everyone about the direction that we're going, and I think it would have more buy-in if we're able to do that. I think it's almost ironic, as I was thinking of this, that maybe in the end, right now, the students may be the only ones that are getting it. They use it, learn it, they rely on it, and we're the ones that are trying to, convince ourselves and convince other people that this is the direction to go. So, space happens, and I think Star Trek really had it right. Space is the final frontier. Thank you.
Hello, I was asked to address two questions, and the first question that was proposed to me: how could you have been better prepared when you went into the classroom? And I've talked to many of you throughout the past 2 days, and many of us have been in the classroom. And so some of these things that I'm going to say are probably shared experiences that we've had, and I'll take just a step back and let you know about my experience. I went to a small liberal arts college and had, I thought, a really good student teaching experience. I had 4 different settings that I was in: a rural, a suburban, and then an 18-week suburban high school experience. I also have an online degree that was for my master's, so that's kind of my educational background. For my teaching, I teach global studies, which is an interdisciplinary English and social studies class. I teach that with an English teacher. I teach geography as well, and then part of my day I spend as a universal design for learning instructional coach. So a little bit about my background. And so I felt like I had a good experience, but when I walked into the classroom day one, I felt like I didn't have a good experience. I think the most glaring thing that sticks out in my mind is how unprepared I was for students with special needs. And that may seem odd, but we're expected to teach all of our students across the spectrum. And we have students with very special needs that, as a general ed teacher, I didn't have strategies to help. And I felt that you have students with individual education plans, but you don't have special education teachers that you're co-teaching with. And so you're expected to make the modifications and the accommodations without the specialized skills. And so I felt really unprepared for that. And looking back at it, I would have liked to have had a student teaching experience with a special education teacher, even though that wasn't my major, because I just felt really at a loss of what to do. And for about the past 4 years, I have had more experience teaching with a special education teacher, and that's helped address that situation, and it has given me some skills. But looking at what I wish I would have known, that's definitely at the top of my list. Likewise, I didn't have much exposure with technology in my student teaching days, and that's going 8 years back, but I was a little disheartened today. I talked to 2 talented young teachers who are just in the teaching field 2 years out, and one who's going to be a teacher, and they said the same thing, that they haven't had classes with smart boards, they haven't had classes with classroom response systems, and then they're going into these classrooms with this technology that's foreign to them, and the professional development that they get is weak at best. And so then it's on-the-job training, and as we know, teachers' days are full, and so when do you do that training? It's left up to asking the students, how do I do this? And the students do know, and they will tell you, but it does take a comfort level to be able to do that. And so having more technology exposure during student teaching would have been helpful. Likewise, I didn't have an induction program, and so I was given a mentor who was a chemistry teacher, and I'm a social studies teacher, and so that was a bad match. And the whole extent of the mentoring was she came to my classroom 2 times and kind of observed and gave feedback, and that was it. So then I took the initiative to find my own mentors. The person that I had completed my student teaching with was an excellent teacher, and so I still talk to him to this day. And then my department chair was another good mentor as well. But it didn't seem to me that there was really a lot of mindfulness behind who to match beginning teachers with and to mentor them. So I wish I would have had a better induction program and peer coaching within my school. So I think that's it for what I wish I would have known. I was also asked to talk about what type of in-service supports do we need now? Now that we're in the classroom, what type of support would we like to have? And technology is changing so rapidly that more technology training would be helpful, because otherwise what happens, and I've seen it in my school, a smart board or Promethean board gets placed in the room and then it just sets because the teacher tries it and it doesn't work the way they want it to, and so then they get discouraged and they figure, why try? I'm not getting the training, this isn't working the way that I would like it to. And so I think the technology training needs to be a focus, because it's in the classrooms, but it's not being used the way that it should. And all too often, it's being used in really simplistic ways. We're not maximizing the technology that we have. And so the smart board becomes a nice-looking projector. It doesn't become what it could be. And I think this is a place where businesses and education could partner better at doing the technology training. Kind of related to that, I think we need more time for professional development. We simply don't get it in my state. It's not part of the way that we do business, but it should be. We've talked a lot about professional development time and trying to create professional learning communities, but that does require a commitment of funding and time to allow teachers to create these professional development communities that simply do not exist the way that they could. And I think we also need support of the establishment of the peer coaching and the mentoring programs. It's something I've become really passionate about through my Universal Design for Learning Instructional Coach program, that teachers, for a large part, teachers view professional development with some angst, because they look at it as in years past, somebody coming in from the outside to tell them how to do their profession. And so teachers don't like that. And I think the new model of the peer coaching puts the professional development back in the hands of the teachers, and then we have ownership of it. And that's what makes it so powerful, and I think that's the way that you get the professional learning communities to get established through the peer coaching programs. So I think that's a support that in-service teachers need. It's that idea that we have the ownership of our profession and we want to develop it. This is kind of a logistical issue, but we also need more collaboration with our IT folks within our building. If you're in the classroom, this is no surprise to you, but there is not free access to the internet. Many sites are blocked. And I teach global studies, and I shared this comment with some people before. I don't have access to Skype. And so in a global studies classroom of all, that's a technology that would really result in some powerful learning, and that opportunity is robbed. And the process to get something unblocked is very labor intensive. And I shared the example. I wanted to download Microsoft's Worldwide Telescope for a classroom activity, and I went to download and I'm blocked because I don't have network administrator rights. So then I sent the web request to get it blocked, and it took 2 months. And during that time, classroom, you move on. And so I downloaded it at home, and thought, well, I'll just bring in my home computer. Well, then I couldn't get on the network at school because it's a foreign machine. So then I felt like I was cheating the system because I downloaded it to a jump drive and then thought, okay, I'll secretly put it in the computer and go that way. And so there needs to be more collaboration and understanding with the IT folks of what is educational sound technology, and the idea that we block everything is not what we need in our 21st century classrooms at all. And so that's an issue as well. And the other interesting thing, we have so many more students who have more academic opportunities at home than they do at school. Because they have their free internet access, they have their iPods, their cell phones, that when they come out, and in our school, our handbook is against having cell phones or iPods. You're supposed to take them away if you see them. And so it's just a mindset that I think is outdated. And so I think that collaboration is there. And then lastly, I think we need to just start addressing these challenges as a community of stakeholders. I think businesses can help with the professional development, with the technology products that they produce. I think a lot of the technology has just an awful lot of opportunity for us to use, but that training does need to be provided, because otherwise it does set in the classroom. State agencies, I think, can help as well, and by state agencies, I'm kind of referring to the